Hello everyone, it's your favorite Senso Tech Jedi Lisa here, and in this video we're going to talk about how to set up your web content filter. Now this is going to be categorized sites that you want to filter out and block for your users, and you can specify which set of users you want to block this for. So you will need to be an organizational admin. So if you are, you'll go ahead and log into your portal and click the gear in the top right hand corner to go into the admin center. Once you're in the admin center, I'll have you go then navigate to here in the left hand pane and go to web content filter and then click on policies. We'll go ahead and create policy. For this one, again, you can name it whatever you would like, but I'm going to name it web content filter just so that I know what this policy is doing. And sites. Now you can have many sites and many groups. So you can have a site, think of that as a container of devices that all have something in common. They're all high school, they're all middle school, they're all staff, they're all students. So these are, containers for a group of devices. And below those sites you can have filtered groups. So you can have your top site that has all the devices that need to go in this one site, and then they have filtered groups below that. The great thing about these policies is if you need to target different settings for your staff or different settings for your students, you could do that by either setting them up in separate sites or setting them up in different filtered groups and picking and choosing which one of those you want to target this policy for. So you may end up creating multiple policies. You have a web content filter policy for your staff, and then you set up a different one, web content filter for your students, as there may be different categories that you select for each one of those. So for me, I'm going to select my site and I'm going to have all my groups, and then I'm going to go ahead and turn it on, enabled or disabled. And then it's going to pick up your enforce, mergeable, and overridable settings from your safeguarding policy. There is an article about this at support.senso.cloud. And also, if you look at the video for safeguarding and keyword logging policy setup, I go in depth, step through each one of those settings and what those settings would be and how they'll get pulled down into this policy here. For policy items, if you block unknown, it blocks access to websites that don't match any known category, such as newly registered or uncategorized domains, and block unresolved. If the content filter is unreachable, all web access will be blocked as a safety measure. So you can turn those on or off. It really is up to you about these two options. Then for blocked categories, these are the categorized libraries of URLs that we've put together that you see. We have everything from adult content, cheating, plagiarism. It goes on and on all the way out to, you can even block webmail. I would highly recommend going through each one of these pages and at first being a little judicious with what you're going to set up. We don't want to block something unintentional that may teachers need access to. For me, I'm going to go ahead and click all and just turn on all, but I am going to go all the way over and turn off webmail because I don't want to prevent webmail on these devices. So that's an option. You see how I can pick and choose through these settings what groups or categories of URLs that I want to block on my student devices, student or staff devices. And I'm going to go ahead and click create. I'm going to get a web banner that says the web content filter has been successfully created, and then I'll have some other options that show up here on the right. I can copy that. Remember that earlier I said that you may create multiple policies for like a staff and student, for example. This is how you could copy that policy, change which site and which group you want to have it set up for, and then go in and change the block category. So essentially you don't have to set everything back up unless it's just good practice and you want to set up another policy. You could copy a policy and just make few minor tweaks within it as needed for the multiple policies that you're setting up for your different groups or your different sites. You can edit the policy, and then you can also delete the policy. So now I'm going to go back into my main Senso console. Let's just give it a quick check and just see what it's going to look like on the student devices. So I'm going to go ahead and select my devices, and then I'm going to run a website that I know is contained in one of those categories. For here, I'm just going to run it on Chrome, and then I'm going to choose the address, and I'm going ahead and click run. And you'll see that this is what it's going to look like on your devices when your students try to navigate to that site. They're going to get that blocked page. It's going to let them know, hey, access has been restricted. This has been blocked by your administrator, and it's going to give the category that it's out of. So if you may have something that you want to unblock with a custom rule set, which is in a different video, then you could see what category it's out of and say, okay, maybe I can determine whether I want to turn off that category, or maybe this is just a singular site I want to create a custom rule set for. And that's how you set up your web content filter. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.